What's up, everybody? My name is TJ Zwarich. I will be your host for today. Dean is on a Naked HD sponsored retreat, and I'm joined since I'm a rook here. I'm joined by some of the vets we have here at RotoGrinders. Kirk Dees, how's it going today?
Doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Keep it under 5 seconds. We don't want to get in trouble. Keep it under 5 seconds. We're ready to pump up the show. We're ready to pump up your bank accounts. All we ask in return is you pump up the like button. Hit that like for some free content here on Friday on RotoGrinders. We got tons of it. I put up my Agents of Fantasy article. You can find that on RG. We got our free Fanduel Friday video show that Tuttle and I put out. And Tuttle and I also recorded a Betcha video today that you can find on our G and on our YouTube page. So hit the like button. You can find those. We got another guest, not guest because we're all just here together. Another co-host with me here today. Keith, how's it going?
Good. Nice big Friday slate here. Always tons of stuff to get on these massive Friday slates, whatever you want. Lots of pitching, plenty of hitting. So excited to get into it with you guys and break it down.
Me as well. Fridays, we always have almost at minimum like 28, 26 teams playing. So we got a big slate tonight, and we might as well start diving into some pitching. Kirk Dees, is there anything that stands out to you early on in the slate? It looks like we're going to be seeing a little bit of chalk going to Lucas Giolito, Aaron Ashby, Blake Snell, all picking up some ownership. Is there anything that stands out to you early, guys that aren't picking up ownership that should and you like, or any of these guys up top that you want to eat the chalk on?
All right. So sorry. I watched yesterday's show, and that's all that was going on yesterday. So get into it. The pitching tonight. I mean, it's. I always say this when big slates, but it's bananas. Like there's like a million pitchers, and it depends how chalky. So Lucas Giolito is going to be extremely chalky, right? But Cheese writes the article. He's out on him because he's going to be way under because he doesn't trust him. And I feel like that's going around everywhere. I went onto a couple sites. So I'm wondering if like we're over projecting his ownership percentage. Like it's just people are going to like think themselves down a little bit, but he still projects so high that like these optimizers are just going to slam him in everywhere. But I mean, I personally, we'll get into it, but I love Giolito tonight. So I'll probably be on the other side, maybe even both of you guys. I don't know, but we've got Blake Snell, we've got Aaron Ashby, we've got so we've got like this whole great matchup, high strikeout pitchers with like a little bit of wart, right? Giolito is the fact that he hasn't been the same pitcher this season, although he's coming around. He had a much better start in his last one. Blake Snell, same thing. Can probably trust him a lot less than Giolito, especially through the years, but. He's coming off of a massive game against the Dodgers. Maybe he corrected something, or maybe he just falls apart again. Aaron Ashby has the pitch count problems. We've got Chris Bassett, who like the price is nice, the matchup's decent. It's good park. He's a Met, which I know producer Steve likes, but he's coming off of COVID. I think he's going to be full go here. I'm not projecting him for any pitch count, down any pitch count, but maybe I'm wrong. Then we've got the ace, the real aces, the true aces, or at least the true ace in Wheeler. And then we got Morton. And then we got some like guys that I like that we'll get into that are a little off the board. I know Urquidy is not off the board. That's strictly matchup based against Oakland, but Tyler Wells we'll have a little chat about too. But I mean, like I could just sit here and ramble pitcher. How many did I list already? 11?
A lot, and I think that's kind of the case for pitcher today. Is I like Giolito. I don't have any interest in I don't have anything against Lucas Giolito tonight, but my thought process is I view so many pitchers as guys in great spots who kind of project similarly for me with similar ranges of outcomes. So if Lucas Giolito and Blake Snell are going to be picking up all the ownership, maybe I'm going to look to pay a little higher to guys like Wheeler and Morton. Keith, what are your thoughts on pitching on this slate?
Yeah, I think the ownership conversation is really interesting. Kirkwood kind of alluded to that with Giolito. I'm having the same feeling on Blake Snell. Like, just we're projecting him for quite a bit of ownership here, and there's nobody that likes playing Blake Snell. It is a disgusting sweat. He's going to go out there and walk a ton of guys. Yeah, he'll probably strike out several as well. But people just don't like playing Blake Snell in general. So I'm still trying to figure out where I stand on this pitching slate. I like Snell in this matchup against San Francisco, but I don't like that ownership number on him. There's just a ton of risk there with his control issues. And if he's going to come in near 30% owned, I'm having a lot of difficulty with that. Giolito, I'm fine being over the field on. This is the fantastic matchup for him against Detroit. The strikeout rate hasn't quite been there this year compared to what it was in a couple of seasons. He's been over 30%. He's more like a 27% strikeout guy this year. But he has a great matchup with Detroit here, who strikes out a ton, and they just haven't been able to hit anything all season long. So Giolito's looked a lot better in his last two. He had big home run problems there for a while, but hasn't given up a home run in either of his last two starts. 6 strikeouts and 7 strikeouts. So his form looks to be a little bit better. I'm back on the Giolito train, and it's the price for me too. Like he's underpriced for his talent level if he is back to the pitcher that we know he can be. Wheeler looks really good to me as well. He's significantly more expensive than Giolito and Snell, but as far as the best real life pitcher, that title probably goes to Wheeler. Not a great matchup here against St. Louis. They don't strike out a ton, but we did just see Strider come out here and strike out 12 of these guys. So it's not as if there's no strikeouts in the lineup. Wheeler's talented enough. I'm fine paying up for him. If that ownership number on Wheeler is correct, I'll be significantly over the field on that. Even though you got to pay up a little bit for him, the safety, like, he's going to go deep into the game. He's going to strike out at least 5 or 6 with upside for much more. I mean, there's double-digit strikeout upside there, even though it's a tough matchup against St. Louis. So I would have those 3 as pretty clearly my top 3. Ashby is interesting. Only threw like 62 pitches his last time out, coming back from injury. It was against his same Pittsburgh team. He struck out 6 in those 62 pitches. So if he can get up to around 80 pitches today, the upside on Ashby is excellent as well. Love this matchup for him. Bassett, Kirkwood made some good points there. I was reading some articles on him. Like, he was upset that he even had to go on the COVID IL. He said he reported symptoms and then he felt fine later that day. And he was upset that he had to miss any time as well. So I agree with Kirkwood there. He should be good to go. I think he gets his full allotment of pitches. A pretty good matchup for him against Miami. Some of the cheap stuff, I'm not sure. I'm going to try to pay up as much as I can. Morton is another guy that we didn't even mention yet. Not a great matchup for him against Washington, another low strikeout team. But Morton has been really good here recently. A bunch of big strikeout games. He's kind of got his groove back, so he's up there in that price range with Wheeler. I definitely prefer Wheeler, but I think Morton should be in your pool if you're making a bunch of lineups.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you there on Morton. He's somebody I wrote up today in my Agents at Fantasy article, which I'm going to drop right now in the YouTube chat. The thing with Morton that I find, like, it's exactly like you said. He started the year slow. Maybe the quick ramp up was tough on him, but he's struck out 8 or more batters in 6 of his last 7 games. 3 of those were double-digit games. Zach Wheeler, I think I like paying up for him as well if everybody's going to be sticking in this mid-range. Chris Bassett on DraftKings, I think, is my favorite tournament pitcher on the whole slate. He's underpriced. He's picking up some ownership, but not that much due to the size of the slate. And so I think that's really strong as well. Zach Gallen, he's getting some ownership on DK. I don't think he's picking up much on FanDuel. If Snell and Giolito are going to be by far the highest owned guys on FanDuel, I don't mind Zach Gallen as a straight line pivot off of those two. Realistically, like, he has the lowest upside of the 3, but he's probably the safest option of the 3 of those guys. And so at a big ownership discount, I don't mind going to him on in tournaments. And Ashby, I think, is an important talking point because on DraftKings, at that ownership, potential pitch count stuff, I think we can pivot off of him and avoid Ashby pretty easily. There's just enough other pitchers who aren't that expensive that you can get to. On FanDuel, he's the cheapest pitcher on the slate. He's 6,800. Those strikeouts are worth a little bit more over there. he's somebody that even though he's going to be the second or third highest owned pitcher, he's the one guy that I'm struggling to get off of on FanDuel a little bit due to that strikeout rate. And so, other than that, I don't know if there's too many other guys we got to mention. We talked about Uriquity, John Gray. If you're MMEing, I think is potentially okay. Tariq Skubal is a guy that we were willing to pay in the 10K price points for earlier in the year, and he's not expensive at all anymore. He's 8,500 on FanDuel. He's 7,600 on DraftKings. Nestor Cortez is another guy as well you could pay up for, but it's a tough matchup. Adam Wainwright, potentially, if you wanted to keep in your pool. Tyler Anderson, those guys aren't going to be for me, but I don't think they're crazy. Kirk Dees, talk to me about Tyler Wells.
All right, Tyler Wells. So first of all, I don't know. So basically, over his last 5 starts, he's 5-0. These are like stupid stats. 1.93 ERA, 21 Ks in 28 innings. This is a guy who has a low strikeout on the year, but it's someone I've kind of thought is more talented, or at least has potential going forward. And so I've actually even played him in some game spots this season, trying to reach. But then on top of that, so he's doing well. His problem is his fastball isn't that great, and he relies on it too much. But if he can knock that down, he has like all the tools to start getting a little bit higher strikeouts here. And it's the matchup with the Angels, right? Like everyone knows, it's their first in K percentage. They strike out the highest against right-handed pitching. They were awful yesterday. Now they're ninth in ISO, so like there is power there. There's Trout, there's Ohtani, right? There's Ward, and then there's pretty much nobody. So they're leading off with VR, who's been thrown away from every team he's been on for the last few years. And he comes right in and he's leading off for the Angels. So the strikeouts are there. They're 18th in WRC plus, so they're below average in total offense. It's just they got those 2 to 3 really, really good bats, and and Trout's been somewhat struggling. But anyway, so that's a guy at 6.3K on a slate like this that I'm willing to take the chance on. So like if we just like think about this from like a big picture, right? So we've got like Giolito and Snell, right? Giolito is like the matchup play, right? And he's also underpriced for who he used to be. And, depending on, he had a good game last game. So I think he's figuring this out. And this is a matchup against Detroit, who's 6th in K percentage. Great matchup, 30th in ISO, 30th in WRC plus. Worst offense, right? So not only does he have the high strikeouts, he's got the high floor where it could just be easy innings in general. There's not much damage. Blake Snell, that's a little bit different, right? Same price, massive strikeout upside, tougher matchup against San Fran. Aaron Ashby, the pitch count. Then we got guys like Bassett who don't have the highest ceilings. I forgot Gallen, and I should have mentioned him. I like him a lot. And I wouldn't say that he doesn't have the upside. He does have. I mean, he struck out 11 against San Diego. He struck out 9 against the Cubs. He's had a late start to this season, and he has kind of, fallen in a hole like for the past over a month for a while now, some of his games. But he did pitch decently well enough in cores, and he should have a much better, now that he's facing them outside of cores, should have a much better go of it. And I think there is upside there, but that is like you alluded to, TJ, that is a safer matchup. They're 28th in WRC plus. They don't K a ton, but they don't do much damage either. So, and then there's guys like Urquidy. So like all of these guys could just have like median outcomes here, right? And like maybe like the Giolito's doesn't have a great outing. He because of like maybe he gets like his command isn't there. Blake Snell's same thing. The command isn't there, and they have rough starts. Then these guys that are like cheaper and like let's also say Zach Wheeler and Charlie Morton, because of matchups, don't have ceiling performances. Good performances, but not ceiling. Then these other guys get a lot more interesting if we think of it that way. And so a guy who I think has more talent than he should, and in a nice strikeout matchup, is cheap. And there is a lot of expensive offense tonight. I think it just makes sense. So I made 3 lineups on DK, and he's in 2 out of the 3. He's not in my first, my heavy one. He's in my second and third. And I'll go down the ship. But there's also like guys like Savali who could he was better than he's been this season. And that's been a theme with like Cleveland in general. He did get some strikeouts against the Yankees, which is they don't want to do. He give up some hits. He had a good start against Detroit. I don't know, like he could luck into some good innings and be a decent player. But there's like that lower range is what I'm kind of looking at here tonight, because I don't want to pay for Wheeler. I don't really want to pay for Morton.
Well, that's actually kind of one of the reasons why I don't want to go to Snell, Giolito, Ashby on DraftKings, is just because all of these guys kind of could be the top one, and none of them are picking up ownership outside of these guys. And I think Wells is definitely a great tournament option for DraftKings. I don't think you want to play him on Fanduel where he's over 8K. On DraftKings as well, I think if you're playing 150, I think you could even include Ross Stripling in the pool, just to potentially get to some higher price bats that you couldn't get to otherwise. And I definitely want to echo the Bassett sentiments. I definitely don't want to say he doesn't have upside. I think potentially out of Giolito and Snell, he maybe has the lowest ceiling of the three, but he's still my favorite tournament pitcher on the slates on DraftKings today. Producer Steve, if you don't mind maybe firing in me in Slack or something like that, QQs from Discord if they happen to come in. I don't have that one open right now. I do have a question from YouTube right now. So if you're watching on YouTube, we got almost 200 people. Hit the like button. We're only 5 away from the first Spidey bomb of the day. And the question is, can we talk about Brady Singer? I don't want to. Do either of you have a take on Brady Singer?
9 Ks in his last start against Detroit. He's raw. He's definitely has talent upside. Not someone, I mean, I could play him, but it's not someone I will be playing.
I just think there are so many guys on this slate. He falls by the side. I think he's a talented pitcher. I don't like the matchup at all against Cleveland. Lowest strikeout rate in baseball. Singer also struggles with lefties. You've got Ramirez there for Cleveland, as well as Naylor and Kwan, who just kind of gets on base. It's not the matchup. And the price he's right there with Snell and Ashby and Giolito, and I don't see the upside for Singer against this Cleveland team as those other guys right there in that 7K range with him. He's certainly going to be far lower owned, and I'm not saying he can't match those guys. I don't think it's the slate that we need him.
Yeah, I have no interest now that when I start looking at the guys around him.
Yeah, I think he's definitely. We got so many great pitchers on the slate today, which is weird because we don't have a bona fide like ace number one lock it in kind of guy. Giolito's the closest one, but he's still scary because we've seen how he can lose control. I think Singer's somebody you can just X out of the pool today. We have hit 50 likes, so we have hit Spidey Bomb number 1. Now this is not somebody that I like him in DFS. I don't necessarily think he's the highest likelihood to hit a home run today, but we were talking on the Betcha video we had earlier, Tuttle and I, and this is somebody who the odds I really like today stood out to hit a home run, and that's actually against your guys, Tyler Wells, Jared Walsh. Jared Walsh, he's plus 650 to hit a homer. You can find it as much as 7 or 750 some places. I think that's pretty good value for a guy who hits righties really well. Wells doesn't strike out a ton of lefties, and that's going to be the first Spidey bomb of the day is Jared Walsh, and I think he probably hits one. And his odds are phenomenal for him to hit one. And so that's the one I like it the most. People are wondering, before we switch it to bats here, who's the cheapest pitcher we'd play on DK? I think if you're playing 150, maybe you slip Stripling in there. But other than that, it's Wells. What were you going to say, Curtis?
I was going to say, we didn't even mention Pablo Lopez, who's basically a lock for like 5, 6, 7 strikeouts. And the only problem is the Mets have been, pretty hot offense, or at least they were yesterday. But he's a legitimate. I mean, he's coming into the season. He was potentially the ace with Alcantara. Alcantara has definitely ran away with that. Pablo Lopez has relied on like a nasty changeup, and he hasn't been as successful with it yet this season, but there's a massive talent upside there too. So basically it's like every team's like second starter is like what this basically is today, and it's like down the whole board. So it's like, it's probably going to be tough to find some offense except for the really top offenses.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
To answer that question, Savali would be my cheapest for max entering. Wells would be my cheapest. Then Savali I would use, and then I'd go up from there a little bit.
Wells would be my guy there too. I would put Stripling over Savali, but again, that would strictly be MME type scenarios. People were saying in the chat the Mets have an extreme pitchers ump today. To me, that's I'm still a little hesitant on Lopez unless I'm MMEing. To me, that means fire up more Bassett. You can find his strikeout prop places at 5.5 strikeouts. The over on that is another one of my favorite bets of the day today. Keith, have there been any bets or anything like that have stood out to you, or anything else you want to hit at pitcher before we switch it over to stacks?
I did notice Pablo Lopez's strikeout prop was down at 4.5. He's one that I wrote up in my article today. Kirk D's talked about it. He's generally good for 5 or 6 strikeouts. He's been at least 5 in 14 of his 16 starts, I believe it was. So tough matchup against the Mets today, obviously, but a really talented pitcher, and I do like his over on that 4.5 strikeouts.
Nice. I like that call as well there. Before we switch to stacks here, we got a bunch of new people watching, over 210 now. So hit the like button, watch it on YouTube. It's the only way we can keep bringing you this for free, battle the algorithm and get it on the homepage. And it's important for us, and it'll help you guys in the long run as well. So do that. Summary at pitcher from everyone here on Fanduel, where I'm going to be playing today. So that's the one I'm going to touch on the most. Ashby at all the way down at 6,800. I have a lot of interest in playing him due to his strikeout upside. Lucas Giolito and Blake Snell, I'm probably going to get underweight on, but I'm also only going to play one lineup today, so that's not going to be too tough. Those are two guys that they project really well. If I'm going to fade one of them, it's going to be Blake Snell, and if I'm going to play the chalk on one, it's going to be Lucas Giolito. Straight line pivot off both. Zach Gallen, I think, is a good play. You can play your equity, but it's fine. I'm good with it. If you're playing lots of lineups, I'm good with it. Single entry, not for me. Zach Wheeler and Charlie Morton, I like playing a lot up top. And on DraftKings, Chris Bassett is going to be my favorite guy. How about you, Kirk Dees?
Over on DraftKings, I mean, I'm locking in. I mean, I'm playing Giolito. He's in all 3 of my lineups, to be honest with you. And then I have him. I took the chalk route with my first one with Blake Snell because I don't care. I'm always chasing upside. I know these guys are volatile. I know there's high walk rates, but I also know that they can pump up, 30 plus points on DraftKings if things go right. And so I chase that. And maybe I'm wrong to do it because of the ownership tonight, but I think when it's all said and done, there's going to be ownership everywhere. So, and then other than that, I went down 12 pitcher list. I like Ashby a little. I like Zach Gallen. I like Chris Bassett. I like Urquidy. My out there play is Tyler Wells. And then I suppose I like Wheeler and Morton, but I'm lower than like probably everybody on him. I just don't think this is the night for him. But yeah, that's my pitching pool tonight.
Who is the Iceman playing today?
So I'm largely in agreement with Kirkwood. Giolito at the top, I think, is pretty clearly going to be my highest owned. Still figuring out what to do with Snell. I like this spot for him. San Francisco, a tough matchup, but some of their better hitters are lefty. The thing I'm struggling with right now is the ownership number. We'll see where that settles as we get closer to lock here. If he ends up around 30%, I probably won't get that high on him, but I do like him in this spot. There's just so many other guys. I'm higher on Wheeler and Morton than Kirkwood for sure. So I'll be more likely to spend up for those guys than I am to go down to like the Tyler Wells tier. But I do think the Gallen, Ashby, and who was the other guy? Just those two, I guess. Really like those two. Yeah, I'm not like the matchup for Urquidy is fine. I struggle with his upside as well, and he's in that same price as the the guys that I think really have the strikeout ceiling. So I'm struggling with him as well.
Let me just throw out 8 Ks in his last game against the Angels.
Yeah, fair enough. The Angels, you made some really good points about how bad they are. And Oakland is also really bad too. I don't know that he's going to need to pitch to the strikeouts today. Fair points, definitely in play. I'm not going to try to talk anybody out of playing him, but I'm really focused on the strikeout upside of Giolito, Snell, Ashby. I will mix in some Bassett, some Gallen, Wheeler, and Morton as well. But yeah, so unfortunately, I'm kind of aligned with the ownership. I was hoping that Snell came in a little bit lower owned. We'll see where it settles, but I might end up going underweight on a pitcher I like just because of the ownership, because there are so many guys today that I don't need to play into the ownership. I'm totally comfortable going up to Wheeler or Morton if they're coming in lower owned.
Yeah, it's like when I was building my lineups, I was just like filling in my bats and just I put like Giolito, then filling in my bats, and then like whichever pitcher out of this whole mix that fits.
Yep.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with going Giolito Snell because they're both in great matchups. Just you maybe don't want to do it if also stacking the Yankees with the Dodgers or the Yankees with the Braves, whatever the most chalky stacks are going to be. It looks like Arizona is kind of going to be the cheap one that picks up a ton of ownership, but they had a wonky lineup that just came out that we will touch on as well. We got more home run calls coming when we get to 100 likes on YouTube. So make sure you hit the like button. And speaking of home runs, we got the All-Star game coming up and we got the home run derby and Stat Hero and RG RotoGrinders there.
Sorry.
Pump up the likes, pump up the home runs. This is you got to pump up the Stat Hero.
Pump up Stat Hero. That's what I'm
pump up your Stat Hero accounts to get involved in this because this is a pretty wild giveaway. Stat Hero has partnered with RotoGrinders to give fans two fans MLB All-Star experience of a lifetime. Enter Stat Hero's All-Star head-to-head lineup. You win and you are in to the next round. The top 2 highest scores from now through July 10th. That's only 2 days away. Today's the 8th, so we're looking at Sunday. Minimum $20 cash entry wins the grand prize of the 2 tickets to the MLB All-Star experience. The next 10 highest scores will win MLB premium memberships at RotoGrinders. The top 2 highest scores will receive, of course, the grand prize, 2 tickets to the Home Run Derby on July 18th, 2 tickets to the MLB All-Star Game on the 19th. It includes airfare. It includes hotels, 10 additional winners getting RG Premium. It's a wild deal. Make sure you check out the All-Star head-to-head in the Stat Hero lobby. And we want to give you these home run calls so that we can help you win on Stat Hero, help give you the chance to get to the MLB All-Star game, see those home run derbies live, see those Spidey bombs, those turd bombs live in person. And you got to hit the like button for us to get there. So one of the next questions that has came up in chat, single entry favorite stack. And I think before we dive into all of the stacks that we like, I think that'd be a good place to start is for tournaments. Who is your top team on the board today? Keith, I'll start with you.
I think there are a couple. I know Atlanta let a lot of people down yesterday. I'm probably going right back to them. I like this matchup against Fetty quite a bit. I like the pricing throughout the lineup. Matt Olson in particular is too cheap today. You've got a couple of cheap guys as well that you can fit into that stack. So Atlanta would be my answer.
Atlanta's definitely up there for me too. One of the teams I wrote up in my article. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, so I got sucked into putting all my money on Atlanta last night. And so the way that I am, I just double it up even more tonight. And so I'm going to be on Atlanta hard again. But if I had to choose another team, it would be the Brewers. And also, I just been reading some stuff in chat here talking about Scuball, which we never really brushed on at all. It's like he's really fallen off lately. Is an extremely talented guy, but I just don't think this is the matchup against the White Sox. Like, even though the White Sox haven't hit this season, it seems like, right? Like against left-handed pitching for this season, they're the first in WRC plus. They don't strike out a ton. There's a lot of power risk. So this is a really tough. I think I would lean towards the Chicago Bats. Just
Yeah, I think you nailed it there with the matchup. Chicago is getting a lot more healthy as well. Eloy Jimenez is back. Luis Robert missed some time. He's back. So this is a different lineup than the one that has struggled the majority of the season. And even Pollock is another guy who's really good against lefties who missed some time. So, yeah, they
that
set
top
up really
five,
well.
that top 5 stacks looks really nice. And it's Pollock and Eloy make it very affordable.
Yep.
We could have taken a break just then and just uploaded the FanDuel Friday video that Tuttle and I talked about, because that was the exact, we kind of echoed those sentiments that Schoolball's price just keeps going down and down. He's looked off. I'm willing to jump back on that train in tournaments, but not today against the White Sox. I'd rather, since the White Sox aren't picking up a ton of ownership, I'd rather just trust that Schoolball's going to keep struggling against the right-handed bats as he has been lately. And Jimenez, Robert, Abreu, Pollock, Vaughn, it just makes for a fantastic stack. And that's actually one of the tournament stacks I'm most interested in as well. In tournaments, and cash games anyways, I think the top stacks on the board are going to be the ones I like the most, just because I don't think on such a big slate I'm going to have to worry about ownership too much with my bats, especially if I'm not doubling up on high-owned pitchers. And so I like the Yankees, I like the Braves, I like the Dodgers, and I like the White Sox. Those are my 4 favorites. I do have to take a peek at this Arizona lineup here, because that was going to be one of the value stacks I liked the most. My Spidey bomb yesterday was Carson Kelly, who hit one, and he's not in the lineup today. So that's something I'm going to have to take a peek at here. Outside the Braves, outside the White Sox, Keith, who else are you targeting on today's slate?
I like Kirkwood's call on the Brewers. Very interested in them, like the lefties especially. The Dodgers always certainly in play. I like your call on Arizona as well. They're a very affordable stack. Chad Kuhl has struggled greatly with lefties. There's some cheap lefties in the Arizona lineup to help make them work. Going kind of off the board a little bit, Baltimore is a team I'm looking at. Detmers has really struggled with right-handed batters. There's some good right-handed power bats in that Baltimore lineup. Let's see. Kansas City is a stack that I don't mind. I like them more as a mini stack, a 3-man, if you will. I like Melendez and Benintendi and Pasquantino, the young guy they called up as well. Just those 3 in particular, I think, set up really well today. Go ahead.
Can I speak to him really quickly?
Yep.
So that's Vinny Linguini. And
right.
So one of our chat members, it's Fettuccine Friday in his household, and he was asking if he should play Vinny Linguini. So I think you have to. Like you can no longer have Fettuccine Fridays if you aren't playing Vinny Linguini tonight.
Absolutely. Love it.
That's, I think, a good play. And when we talked about the White Sox, I mentioned Vaughn, and he's not in the lineup today. You got Josh Harrison. It's his birthday, batting 9th. Chat wanted us to bring that up as well, but still really like the stack even without Vaughn. There's tons of guys. Tim Anderson is another one I obviously forgot to mention leading off. That is a great play. Kirkwood, who else are you targeting on this?
Yeah, before we go position by position, I want to do a little segment we call Chops BVP. I know the fans love it. Herbert, my boy Herbert in chat, he's been asking for it. So I'm going to give you the 2 Chop verified BVP plays. Number 1, and this would obviously be the Chop play because it's Yordan Alvarez. He's an Astros fan, Astros homer. We're talking 3 home runs and 10 at bats. But the thing that Chop likes the most is only 1 strikeout here. 1 strikeout in those 10 at bats. So that's a play. And the second one would be Marcelo Zuna against Eric Fetty. Fetty is coming in with 2 home runs in 11 at bats, 7 hits out of those 11 at bats, and again, 1 strikeout. So that's I wanted to get that for the chat. I know some people plug them right into their lineup.
There you go. Chops BVP plays. You got Ozuna batting 5th. He sometimes slides back in the lineup, but he's in a good spot again there today. So yeah, I think those are both interesting calls. Yordan Alvarez, I don't even care what his BVP is. I'll play him any night, any day. So you don't got to twist my arm there. Heading position by position here, I guess we will start at catcher. I'm not playing DraftKings today. I'm only sticking on FanDuel, so I don't know how many of these catchers are going to be popping into my lineups. But Keith, who do you like today at catcher?
All right. Let me see here. Sorry about that. All right. So Will Smith, I think, is the top option. I do really like William Contreras as well. He's having a phenomenal season. I prefer him against lefties, but Fedde gives up power to both sides of the plate. So William Contreras, I like his price. Alejandro Kirk is having a nice year. I think you can play him against anybody at this point. I mentioned MJ Melendez. He's probably my favorite tournament play here. Nice price range, low 4Ks, good matchup against Savali. One of my favorite tournament guys. I do like Jose Trevino as well, having a good season for the Yankees. They're in a really good spot. And we mentioned these White Sox. I don't mind Zavala, who is in that 7 hole for them.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. And so we talked about Arizona as a potential stack that we liked, and you got Herrera all the way at the bottom, batting 9th today. Chris, you got any interest in Herrera, and who do you like at catcher?
No, I don't have any. I don't really know anything about Herrera. I do know that he's 2K, so if I had to, I would. I would play head chopper if he was batting against any major leaguer at 2K. So Jose Herrera, sure, come on up. Did Varsho make the lineup? Yeah, okay.
He's batting 5th.
It's not for DK though. So okay, yeah, I echo the same sentiment. It's William Contreras batting 7th, hoping makes his ownership a little lower. I don't think it's gonna. He's cheap. He's got big upside. Braves should rock. The thing about it is that Washington is just such a bad team in general. Like they're just in their bullpen is horrendous. So they're one that's at least in the 10 worst on the slate bullpens for both exit and home run per 9. So that's something I always look at. So that's a bullpen I want to keep attacking. You know who's been raking is Cal Raleigh for Seattle, and like sneakily, and no one ever plays him because you never know when it's like Seattle is always like an afterthought because they're like the latest lineup to ever come out, and like so no one ever plays him. But I like him. I like all the top guys. I like Will Smith again. I like Trevino, like you said, batting 7th. That's a nice spot. Like I felt really stupid last night. Like even though Garrett Cole was pitching, like Red Sox Yankees is just different. Like they just go off. I don't have any statistical analysis to prove, but it's like I avoided that game and I shouldn't have. I should have been the home. Like I went all in on Bayo the other night, but I'm too scared to play batters in a game with Garrett Cole. It's like, what am I doing? But I don't know who else. I don't really like anyone that many. I mean, you can always play Realmuto. Haas is against Giolito is probably the leverage play, batting cleanup, 4,300. I don't know. It really doesn't matter.
I think William Contreras on DraftKings is probably my favorite one. On Fanduel, it would definitely be Varsho, where you can play there. I like the Cal Raleigh call. I think the Mariners are a potential interesting team in tournaments that we didn't really talk about. Yeah, Devers would have been one of the best possible one-offs you could have last night. That would have been pretty perfect. We're running pretty quick through this. We got to burn some time. And so one of the questions we had in chat was, since it's summer, the chat's curious, what are what everyone's favorite Girl Guide cookies are? And I mean, Girl Guide cookies aren't a big thing in Canada. Are you guys big Girl Guide cookies people?
I don't even know what that is.
That must be a Canada thing. Is that similar to Girl Scout cookies?
Oh, yeah, Girl Scout cookies. Maybe the Girl Guide is a Canada version. Girl Scout cookies. There you go.
If we need to, I mean,
Girl Guide must be the Canada version.
Mine were like the Samoas, I think, which is like the coconut. I don't know what with there. It's like caramel chocolate. There's like a little coconut in there. I hate anything mint, so I can't do the thin mints. I know everyone likes those, but not me. I don't know.
I do like the thin mints, but yeah, I mean, I think those are the only two I'm really even aware of, but not a huge.
What kind of butter tart? What are your favorite butter tarts?
That was the weirdest thing Dean ever threw my way. I didn't know butter tarts were at all a Canadian thing.
So are they a thing?
Before.
Like
I've had them before, but like they're definitely not near the most common desserts you'd see at events.
All right,
but into like we don't get Girl Scout cookies, or maybe we do in like Ontario and Quebec, but not really here where I am. I'm a big I like anything coconut, anything hazelnut, and I agree with the mint take. Mint chocolate chip is the most overrated ice cream flavor that exists. I guess it's time to move on to first base, though, before we get canceled for our ice cream and cookie takes. Whether or not we like
it's tough
mint.
hosting, right?
It is. Well, just like I thought it was going really well until I realized that like no one's coming for 35, 36, 38 more minutes here. So like, what are we I guess we're just going to go very slowly position through position. And
Dean does a really good job about getting off topic and going on tangents.
He does.
And he's got a great, like, no, so he's been doing it for like 10 years. So like, it's like, he's good at it. You know, he's picked up the tricks. He's got the cadence down. He's got everything down. So I'm just saying, like, it's hard. I remember, I mean, I've tried to host a couple of times, and it's the most horrendous thing ever. I just, you know, you sit there. I was sitting there and just like, no one says anything. And it's like,
it's tough. Like, yeah, I agree with you. You ask a question, you don't know it. You don't know where it's going to land, if it's going to give someone a tangent or a couple word answer. Dean is truly one of the very best in the business at hosting, and I like giving him a harder, much tougher time when I'm the co-host and I'm getting the likes up and stuff like that, as opposed to the one who has to create the tangents. But I guess we will head over to first base. We won't force them. We'll let them come when they come. Something I was hoping to force into my lineups today was going to be Anthony Rizzo, but he's still not back. So that leaves Matt Olson as by far my top option at first base today. How about you, Curtis?
Yeah, I was actually hoping that Rizzo would play, so it would bring Olson's ownership down a tick. And now it's just everyone's going to play him. And that was more for Yahoo, for my main lineup. They're $1 apart over there. So, and optimizers were giving Rizzo, so I thought Olson was going to be less owned, but now that's ruined. So we could play Carpenter, right? I mean, who has the highest ISO on the season? Matt Carpenter, of all people. Yes, I don't have the big sample size, only 23 games, 65 plate appearances, but a 473 ISO is ridiculous. I mean, he's just hitting, and like, Seabold isn't the best pitcher by any means, so like you can feel confident attacking. He only got 9 swinging strikes in his last time out. He just doesn't have much in his pitch arsenal besides his 4-seamer, which is pretty good, but his other stuff is lacking. So I mean, the Yankees should be all systems go again. It's hot and humid in Boston again. Humidity plays a big part here in games that blow up. So I like that shot. Plus the Red Sox bullpen is kind of trash. So you can play him. Freddie Freeman, obviously, Abreu with I mean, this guy's been a lefty masher for his career. He's a big reason why the White Sox are first in WRC plus against left-handed pitching. He's a great home run. Skubal definitely, when he's off, Skubal gives up the long ball. That has always been true, even when he's pitching well. It's always solo homer shots and stuff that would hurt him. But Abreu is definitely a good bet to go. I would hammer that home run. Put him in those home run parlays, Drizzy. If Drizzy Dre's out there, I mean, put him in one of those.
I'm happy you brought that up, because when we were doing the Betcha show today earlier, and Tuttle and I, we made our 4-man parlay. We made it with the White Sox. We went under Skubal's outs, over Giolito strikeouts, over hits and walks for Abreu and Tim Anderson.
You like it. I like it.
Nice.
Mountcastle or Trey Mancini. Detmers is coming back after being sent down. Maybe I don't know. We'd have to ask Chop if that brings a little like competitive edge to him, like after being sent down and getting another chance. So maybe his fastball will be up a tick tonight. We'll have to monitor that. But certainly a guy that we can attack. Baltimore looks to be good hitting weather over there. My dew point model loves it. Massive humidity out there. I hate what they did to their ballpark. And I don't understand why they moved the left field fence back. Like Trout would have had a home run last night if it was, it's really annoying. It's like, why would you're a struggling team who doesn't have much talent. Like people want to see home runs. Why would you pull the fence back? I don't get it. But I like the Orioles a lot tonight. Other than that, you can always play Vlad. You can always play Shohei, Rowdy Tellez, who looks overpriced, won't get played a lot, but certainly should be part of those Brewers stacks. But overpaying for Rowdy Tellez when we got cheap pitching isn't the worst thing in the world. And then we've got Vinny Linguini on Fettuccine Friday. My question is who would you stack for who would be your small stack for the Fettuccine Friday lineup? Like,
are we going with KC or are we going with
say he's got the
noodle
Royals.
names?
I'm thinking the Mariners, right? Little marinara.
Little marinara in there. Yeah. Definitely don't hate it. And like on the note of food, people are really asking about poutine in the chat right now. And I do have to say that is a very Canadian thing, and it is not overrated in any way, like mint chocolate chip ice cream. A well-done poutine is truly one of the best things you will ever eat in your life. Some good crispy fries, some gravy. The important distinction is a lot of places will have it on the menu, and they'll just throw some like shredded cheddar cheese or shredded mozzarella cheese on top. And that's not a poutine. It's got to be cheese curds, and that's one of the reasons why you get them they're so tough to find good ones, is because Quebec and Ontario forever have been really the only two places you could find good real Canadian poutine. And now it's kind of expanded all over Canada. I don't really know if you can get it in the States anywhere yet, but if you find a way, it's amazing.
Don't they have it in McDonald's?
I'm not sure if they use the curds at McDonald's, but that would basically be like a low budget version of it. Yeah.
I remember I used to go to Montreal for every New Year's Eve until I was 21. I used because of the 18 drinking age and the casino age. Casino de Montreal. Anybody been there?
No, I haven't. But Eric says in chat that cheese curds also come from Wisconsin. So maybe you go up to Milwaukee for a game of some kind, you can find yourself a poutine somewhere. Another stack that we didn't talk about at all, but I do think is interesting, as Kirby has given up a lot of hard contact and fly balls before. A team we haven't talked about at all is the Blue Jays and Vlad Guerrero here at first. Keith, is that a team that you have any interest in getting to at tournaments?
I mean, obviously, I want to play the Blue Jays on every slate. There's just so much talent in that lineup. You make some good points about Kirby and struggling with hard contact here recently. His last time out, he gave up several home runs. The Blue Jays can certainly do that to him here today. I like the Vlad call, coming with a very low ownership number. So yeah, I'm totally on board with the Blue Jay stacks. Probably more of a secondary stack for me, home run hunting, than a full stack, just because I do think Kirby's a pretty good pitcher, and I don't see them getting to him for like 10 runs today necessarily, but I could certainly see a couple of home runs being hit.
Yeah, and I mean, Springer is not very expensive. Vlad's cheap. Kirk is is a great hitter at a premium position. You got, if you want to save salary, you got Chapman, Hernandez, Gurriel, Biggio. Yeah, I think they're definitely a interesting stack for tournaments today.
The problem with the full stack is they're a little bit expensive. So if I'm like paying out for pitching, it's tough to get them in there and get the pitching I want as well. Like if I'm going up to Wheeler or Morton, it's tough to fit a Blue Jay stack in there.
Do we have any 2K? Like Buddy didn't make the lineup, but playing the reason you play like a guy like Buddy, whatever, what was his last name? I don't even remember.
Kennedy.
Kennedy on the Diamondbacks is because then you get like a stacked lineup everywhere. It just helps. Do we have any?
Joey Gallo was really cheap. I believe. Did he make the lineup? I know.
Yeah, I think he's batting ninth.
Yeah. That's
just in general or at first base?
I'm just looking in general.
Like Alec Thomas at 2.8 would be the best value we have on the slate.
Yeah, whenever I fade that guy, he just sticks it right to me. And like he's not a good hitter, but I guess he is whenever he's chalk.
He is a good prospect, so there's definitely talent there.
Yeah.
If you're not playing Lucas Giolito, I think playing Riley Green, even as a one-off, is on DraftKings is a very interesting salary saving option. 2,600 going against the chalkiest pitcher, batting leadoff. I think that's somewhat interesting from a value perspective. You got Jake Lamb on the Dodgers, some kind of ugly ones. Obviously, you got Joey Gallo there as well. But in terms of the 2K range, I think that's going to be all we're looking at.
Yeah, it seems like we're lacking a little bit for that type of play. They've been really prevalent here the last couple of weeks with some minor leaguers getting called up and things like that. But yeah, it feels like there's not as many as there should be for this big of a slate.
Yeah, and before we get to second base here, we got almost 300 people watching right now. Hit the like button. We got some home run calls coming at 100 likes. And the other thing I want to ask the two of you, and I want to ask the chat, is we know Dean has gone to his naked HD retreat right now. He's obviously going to be wanting to, I was going to say dress to impress, but it's the naked HD retreat, so maybe that's not the proper term, but he's going to want to be looking good. Do we think he comes back from his retreat with a mustache or without the mustache? Kurt Diaz, what do you think?
I think he can't give in now, right? Like he's got to keep this thing going, and I say we got to get him to keep it going for forever. Like, and
Just
keep
forever.
like see if we can get like next step would be handlebars. See if he could do like a handlebar thing. Like, how amazing would that be?
So I
do the little French twist.
Yeah, I love it. I'm definitely smashing the yes on will the mustache be there. My biggest question is, will it still be the same color? Is he going to dye it for the wedding? I know there was some discussion around that.
It'd be interesting to see if he gets the Just for Men going. What I find hilarious about it is like his hair is still it's got that nice brown, a little gold in it, and then the mustache is just pure white. And so I'm not sure how exactly he will find the color to make it work, but I'm sure we could go through those old Walt-Clyde Frazier commercials and find one that fits.
I wonder what it looks like in person. Like, I wonder if it does, because it looks so bad when we're watching the shows. Like, I wonder if it's even worse in person or it looks better.
So, of course, the real reason he's gone is Grant is getting married. So congrats to Grant. But we'll have to get him to report back to us because give us the full report on what Dean's aesthetics are looking like in 2022 in person. I guess second base on that note. Like, you guys, there you go. Pump it up music or something. It's my first hosting show here. You guys got to give me like a little immediate stand-in so there's just not that awkward silence.
Yeah, whenever there's that silence, I'm going to go. All right. I got you.
There you go. Yeah, sorry, I'm half distracted too. I'm trying to get some of these lineups loaded into HQ, so I'm multitasking.
I can't.
That's fair. I guess I
screw up. I can't multi-enter when I do shows.
Keith is working RG behind the scenes. Kirk Dees is keeping Pump It Up on cue, so I guess I can't be upset. This is on me. Let's get to second base. On FanDuel specifically here, we are going to have our same chalky guy that we've had forever here with, I'll go by projected ownership. And I guess it's not uploaded at this position yet. This is DraftKings. That's why. Max Muncy on FanDuel is still 2,700. He's going to be crazy chalk there. On DraftKings and outside of Muncy on FanDuel, but I guess even here he's the top projected second baseman today. This is a gross position. I had personally a bit of a interesting take on Muncy today, but I want to know, Kurt Dees, what do you think on him specifically and your thoughts on second base?
My thoughts on second base, interestingly enough, are: do we think Dean is going to get to second base at Grant's wedding?
Does he have a date? Do we know that?
Is he at Grant's wedding or is he at the Naked HD convention? Because that may change the odds of whether or not he gets there.
Anyway, with Max Muncy, I like Muncy. I've got nothing again. I mean, he's struggled this season, but he's popped out with some massive games recently, and that's the whole point of playing Max Muncy. And the game that he went off, interestingly enough, he was only like 5% owned. It was crazy. I had him that night, and I cashed with him that night. But like, that's why you play Max Muncy, is for the massive upside, for the home run upside. But so I don't think he's going to be too chalky. I have him like lower owned than Ketel Marte. I got him lower owned than Gleyber Torres. So I'm in on Muncy tonight.
There it is. Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm torn on the Dodgers. I'm a Cubs fan and I'm a Keegan Thompson fan. He throws a cutter against lefties that has actually held down the damage against him from the left side of the plate. It's the Dodgers. They're certainly more talented than Keegan Thompson is, but that is worth noting that if Thompson has that good cutter working, I am a little bit worried about the Dodgers lefties, but I certainly am not concerned about Muncy as a player. He's still extremely talented, ton of power, excellent plate skills with his discipline and things like that. So don't love the ownership on him. I'll probably end up a little bit underweight, but love that price tag on FanDuel, of course.
And you heard it here first. The hot takes coming on Grinders Live. Per Keith Iceman Eister, Dodgers more talented than Thompson. That's pitching.
Hot fire right there.
So it is hot fire. We also have this cheap, almost minimum price Jonathan VR on FanDuel. Don't really love it. Gleyber Torres, fantastic play. Javi Baez is cheap on FanDuel. What I was talking when I was talking to Tuttle earlier today, kind of my thoughts on Muncy is on FanDuel he'll pick up more ownership than DraftKings, but he asked if I'd be interested in playing Max Muncy as a one-off, and I would, simply because he hits power. It's a terrible position, and I don't really care too much about the ownership of one position if I differentiate elsewhere. If I'm playing a full Dodger stack, that's where I'm actually going to look to not include Muncy in my lineup on FanDuel, because almost everybody with a Dodger stack is going to be playing Max Muncy. And so Gavin Lux is somebody that I don't love as a one-off, but I definitely like it in a Dodger stack, and I'll include him to wrap around with Betts 1 and Freeman 2, and I'll get my Gavin Lux hitting 9th there. And so that's kind of where I'm looking to go in a Dodger stack, and I'm looking to get off of Muncy in stacks while only playing him in one-off. Taking it to third base is where we get kind of in Braves territory that we've been talking about. They were one of the teams that we really like, all three of us on this slate. We got Austin Riley up top on FanDuel. Jose Ramirez is looking like the best play on DraftKings here, where he's just perennially underpriced. Who do you guys got at the top of the board on DraftKings today? Is it Donaldson down low, Jose Ramirez, or Austin Riley? Kirk Dees, I'll throw it to you first.
Donaldson's the chalk. After the grand slam last night, I think the Yankees are gonna hit. So you just got to be cognizant how you play him. I think he's an easy cash game play, even though that's weird because he does struggle a lot. But Jose Ramirez is the best play. If I can get I've been trying to make my builds like to try to make a pay down somewhere so I can then get up to Jose Ramirez. He has not homered in a while, but he's going to. He's an elite hitter, and so that's the guy that I'm paying for. His price is down a little bit from normal, and plus he's always willing to steal a bag for you too, which is nice. So like those guys like that, I like. Austin Riley, yep, I love him. I love Braves tonight. Other than that, like Manny Machado, Justin Turner is starting to come around a little bit, but it's more just about if he's 4,100 and has home run upside and a good matchup against Thompson. I don't know if I can play.
When we have so many good premium third basemen today, like Austin Riley and Jose Ramirez up top, Josh Donaldson a little bit cheaper, are you willing to sacrifice at a strong position and go with your guy Jace Peterson in a stack you like Milwaukee, or are you going to want to get one of these top tier guys instead?
If it's a stack, I don't care. I'll play it. If although batting ninth is a little rough, but like normal, like you can make that case. Like third base is such a hard spot, it's such a opportunity cost and upside. But if I'm doing a full stack, it's really about the full stack and then fitting around the pieces I like there. So if it fits, I don't mind playing it. Probably wouldn't be Jace Peterson in general because I'm not a big Jace Peterson number 9 guy, but the point still stands.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And Keith, we had when we hit 90 likes, we had the Iceman ice cold take of the Dodgers greater than Thompson. Now we're almost at 100 likes, 4 away. We're gonna get Spidey Bomb number 2, and I'm wondering if maybe we can get a home run call here from you at 100 likes. And in the meantime, tell me who you like at third base.
Yeah, I can probably come up with something for a home run call. I agree with everything you guys have said. It's Riley and Ramirez at the top, very clearly the top 2 options. I mentioned Singer splits against lefties, so Ramirez is the one I really like. Riley is phenomenal as well, as having a great season. Donaldson underpriced. Josh Rojas for the Diamondbacks is somebody I like. He's leading off today. Cool also has really struggled with lefties, so he's one of my favorite plays. Arcia for the Braves is somebody I like playing. A little bit of speed, a little bit of power there. He's hitting 8th, which is an ideal, and he's also eligible at 2nd. So you probably play him at 2nd more than you play him at 3rd. But I didn't mention him there, so I wanted to get his name out there. Matt Chapman, a guy with a lot of power against Kirby, who we talked about, has kind of struggled with righty power here recently. So I like Chapman as a one-off. One of the cheaper Blue Jays as well. Kim is leading off for the Padres, and he's pretty cheap. I don't necessarily love the Padres in general, but if you need a cheap option, I think Kim is in play.
Yeah, I definitely think that's somewhat interesting there. And we've reached 100 likes, so hit me. Who is your home run play of the day? Pump it up! Whoa. That's over 5 seconds. We got to chill here. We're not trying to get in trouble on my first show, Kirk D's. It's a 5-second max. Come on.
I just 3x'd it. I 3x'd it.
Well, you're going to have to give us now that we're at 100 likes, I want your 3x BVP plays from Chop that you gave us earlier. But first, Keith, who's hitting a home run today?
Yeah, so I like these Baltimore guys. Especially the right-handed power. Detmer's coming back after being sent away to the minors for a little bit. I'm going to go Ryan Mountcastle for my home run.
There you go. I like it a lot. And the Spidey Bomb today is coming, but before it does, Spider-Man actually has a question for Chris Kirk D's. Who's leading the MLB in ISO this season?
Mr. Matthew Carpenter.
Mr. Matthew Carpenter is Spidey Bomb number 2. That's who's going to be hitting a home run today. And we talked about Chop's BVP plays earlier. I was wondering if you could remind the people who they are now that we got quite a few more viewers in here.
Oh, the BVPs you said?
Yeah.
The Chop BVP plays of the day. It's number 1 is Yordan Alvarez. Already 3 homers and 10 at-bats against Blackburn. The guy's going to homer off anybody anyway. He's ridiculous. So there's number 1. Number 2 is Marcelo Ozuna, who has 2 homers and 11 at-bats, 7 hits and 11 bats, 1 K. That's the key, says Chop, is it's 1 strikeout. So that's what he really likes about that. So, I mean, as Herb says, Ozuna is just a plug and play. It's as easy as it gets. So, other than that, I'm going to give my 1 home run. I just think Matt Olson is like a definite home run tonight. So I want to say him, and I also echo the sentiment for the Orioles, but I'm taking one different, although I do like Mountcastle, but I prefer Mancini just a tiny bit more. But I love the stack.
There you have
it. You got to plant your flag. So it's like me versus Keith. We could have the same stack. One of us has Mancini, the other one has Mountcastle.
So we don't have the beat mean Deans head to head today, but we do have the Baltimore stack, Keith versus Kirk D's. So let us know in the chat who you think is going to win that matchup. And hey, maybe we can get to 150 likes here before the Crunch Time guys come in and get our 3rd Spidey Bomb in. Let's take it to shortstop today. We got Dansby Swanson here. I think is going to be my favorite play. Tim Anderson is far too cheap on FanDuel. He's 5,400 on DraftKings, and I think he's reasonable there. But on FanDuel, he's 34, and that's where I really like him a lot. I see he's got a cheap price tag on Yahoo. You can always play Trey Turner. He's the highest projected guy. Javi Baez is a guy that looks a lot better on FanDuel than he does on DraftKings. But Kirk Dees, who are you looking to today at short?
Who has a cheap play on Yahoo?
Is Yahoo min price 10?
No,
in baseball too?
7, but 10's cheap.
Oh,
but,
so Tim Anderson's 12 on Yahoo.
Yeah, he's cheap. Okay, I just missed who you said.
Okay, yeah, I realized that I've never played baseball on Yahoo. I've only played basketball and football. So I realized I don't actually know how cheap that is because I wasn't sure what min price.
That's right.
Tim Anderson, $12 on Yahoo. So cheap on FanDuel and Yahoo.
Yep, he'll be the chalk tonight. I'm debating on whether I want to like pay up for Trey Turner and make it different. So I like also Donaldson will be the chalk too. So I also talked about how I'm going to be different either with Trey Turner or Jose Ramirez. I'm trying to figure out how to make that all work. But anyways, shortstop DraftKings, you like Swanson. Turner's right there. Tim Anderson, you said Bobby Witt is back in the lineup. Bobby Witt Jr. is a freaking stud. And he will steal a bag for you too. I always like those guys that have multiple ways to get there. So I like that. I think Xander is going to have a good game tonight against Nestor the Molester. Is that what they call him?
Hope not.
I know. I didn't make it up. But
didn't one of the like opposing team announcers say that on screen on like a broadcast and then immediately apologize after?
I don't know.
Like a little bit of a Nick Castellanos situation?
Possibly. But I know people from RG are like in chat too. We're calling him that. So figured I'd call him that. Other than that, I'm playing some JP Crawford because the price is right down at 3,900. But I get it if you don't want to follow my lead down that one. Adames is like severely overpriced at 5,800, but should lower his ownership. Those I think those are my guys. What do you got, Keith?
I agree that Tim Anderson is in a great spot. Trey Turner is a Dodger that I do really like tonight. Dansby Swanson has had a phenomenal year. Absolutely love him for the Braves. Bobby Witt, agree with that call. Just looks like a really good young player. Let's see here. I don't mind Bogarts as well with that platoon advantage against Cortez. Corey Seager against Sonny Gray is fine. I'm paying up here at shortstop. There's all kinds of upside here. With the top guys, I think it's definitely a position that you want to spend up on.
No Perdomo or Dubon for you? Dubon
is fine. He's eligible in the outfield too, I believe. Is that still the case? Yeah. On DraftKings yes. He is anyway.
I just realized I might not need Crawford anymore now that Kim is sitting there at 3,100.
There you go.
Yeah, I do like
Kim.
There
you go. I think those are definitely options as well, and we're going to get to some questions from the premium Discord chat for RotoGrinders as well as in the YouTube chat after that. But after we hit Outfield here, so Keith, take us to Outfield, and then we'll get ourselves to some questions after that.
All right. Always tons of options in the outfield. You've got Acuna for the Braves, one of our top stacks. Judge is just having a phenomenal season against a young pitcher in Seabold. Great ballpark for right-handed homers as well. Mookie Betts, a phenomenal option at the top of the Dodgers order. The price has finally started to kind of adjust on him, but he's still up near the top of the list. Love Yordan Alvarez, as Kirkwood has already told us about. Robert hitting third there for the White Sox in a great spot. The cheap Arizona lefties I really like. Alek Thomas, David Peralta. Varsho's a little bit more expensive, but he's hitting fifth, so definitely don't mind spending up a little bit for him as well. All of them are great. Love Pollock and his price tag, hitting second there for the White Sox. Springer, another one of those Blue Jays power bats that I don't mind chasing a little bit. That covers a bunch of them. Eloy Jimenez for the White Sox, another guy who's just a little bit underpriced, still adjusting, coming back from injury. Like him a lot.
Yeah, that's basically on the same page as me. I don't think I'd have much to add on FanDuel, you got almost minimum price Stephen Kwan, AJ Pollock's even cheaper there. Joey Gallo's very cheap. But other than that, same guys you mentioned. Kirk Dees, I want to know what you think of outfield, but also if you are only playing one of the 3 highest projected guys today, Aaron Judge, Ronald Acuna, Mike Trout, say it's a one-off. It's not even a stack. I know you like Alvarez, but those 3 guys up top, all over 6K, I think that's going to be something people are choosing between. If you're only playing one out of those 3, who would it be?
Acuna owes me money from last night, so I'm going to him. Also, I'm a Red Sox homer, so there's no way I'm playing Aaron Judge tonight. And watching that game, I'm not rooting for him. So, you know what I just realized too is Ketel Marte is out of the lineup. That stinks. I have a question for you guys. If you guys had to choose between, you're not playing an Arizona stack, but you needed a one-off between Alek Thomas or Peralta, who would you choose? Let's not even take salary into it. Just like
I almost always side with the young guy in that situation, just a brighter future. Peralta's kind of on the downside of his career. He's actually been pretty decent here recently, but I'd be on the Alek Thomas side of that.
It's going to be Peralta for me, I think, just based on probably ownership. I think Thomas is going to have more. Like, they both have ISOs over 200. Their strikeout rates both similar between the two. I would typically lean Peralta a lot more just because he doesn't hit ground balls nearly as much as Thomas does. He's got a better fly ball rate, a much better line drive rate. The thing is that it doesn't really matter against Cool. Like, he just gives up a ton of line drives and fly balls anyways. So straight up, I think I'd probably go Peralta because of ownership, but with the salary included, I think I'd just see which one fit better.
And another thing, the reason why I also would choose Acuna over Judge, and Judge has been better this season. Acuna's been struggling as of late, but it's the fact that he steals bases. So if I like them both a lot, and I both think they have the same home run upside in the spot, although, Fenway Park is obviously a great park for Judge, but with Washington and that bullpen, the fact that Acuna will steal some bases, I'd side with him.
And on FanDuel, there's kind of a upper mid-tier range of outfielders who are just great today. Mike Trout's under 4K. Byron Buxton's 3,700. George Springer's 3,900. Juan Soto's 3,900. Julio Rodriguez is 3,900. So there's so many phenomenal hitters in the outfield. Don't be afraid to differentiate a little bit if that's a one-off and not a part of your stack. Like if we get closer to walk, we're watching crunch time and we see somebody like Mike Trout or Aaron Judge on a 15-game slate are pushing 25-30% ownership, pick one of these other guys that we've talked about, Yordan Alvarez, Luis Robert. That's not going to pick up near as much. That's still in a phenomenal spot. Or if you want to get even sneakier, no one's playing Byron Buxton tonight. The Twins aren't in that great of a spot. At any point, he could have 2 home runs and 2 stolen bases. So don't be afraid to differentiate in the outfield with one of these. If either complete a stack or get a high upside one-off. And taking to some questions here, we'll kind of give a refresher at pitching too for the people who weren't here earlier, because first question we have coming in is just straight up, who do we have projected for more points, Charlie Morton or Zach Wheeler? It's Wheeler, and I think he is the better play today. There's a bit of a bigger price difference on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, where they're both going to be very low owned, I think you definitely play Wheeler. The one thing I think it's interesting to mention with Morton as well is Roth upped the risk, and this we're not going to talk too much about this because obviously he's coming on crunch time right away here, but Roth upped the risk in Atlanta just because there was some pop-up showers that look like they're going to be coming. And so that shouldn't impact the bats for us, but that could potentially impact Charlie Morton if that game gets hit with a random storm and gets hit with a delay. He's an old guy. He might not be coming back in here. So if you have a question, get it in the premium Discord. We will look at that first. After that, we are going to take a peek at these YouTube questions. We have over 300 people watching now. If you have a question, get it in chat. Hit the like button. We got more home run calls if we get 150 before the crunch time guys come in. Judge or Acuna was asked. Kirk Dees, I know you're picking Acuna. What's the answer for you, Keith?
I'm on the Acuna side of that as well. The main tiebreaker for me is that Washington bullpen. Kirk Dees has talked about it several times. Completely on board with that take.
Here's something for chat. They usually like to know the extreme pitching umpires. Just going to give them real quick. Bassett has an extreme pitching umpire, so Pablo Lopez would be the other side of that. Aaron Ashby has an extreme pitchers umpire. Other than that, pitching umpire for Zach Wheeler, hitters umpire for Giolito, and Cardi has Blake Snell as the highest projected pitcher on the slate, raw points.
Blake Snell is his highest on the board for raw points.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Interesting.
Yep.
I always hate when I have like a hot take at pitcher and then it seems to go directly against the bat or directly against Cheese. Those are always the two things that really, really make me feel less confident about what I'm doing. But in terms of the umpires, it does make me feel good about Bassett and Ashby, because Bassett is my favorite pitcher in tournaments today, and Ashby is not my favorite on FanDuel, but he's in my top tier. And I think in my one lineup I'm running, he might be the guy that I end up rolling with. We will see here. We'll run through pitcher kind of top tier SP1 and SP2s for the people who weren't with us at the beginning. Keith, just give us a quick summary of who you like at pitcher today, and then your top stacks as well.
Yeah, Giolito is going to be my top guy pretty much across the board. For SP1, I really like paying up for Wheeler as well. Prefer him slightly to Morton. SP2, I'm looking at Blake Snell. I love that matchup for him. Talked about some of the lefties in the San Francisco, or some of the better hitters for San Francisco being left-handed. So a little bit weaker lineup than we're used to. That pitcher's ump for Ashby is a big deal for me also. That's kind of when I pay attention to it, is when we have a guy that typically struggles with command. Ashby can benefit from a couple extra strike calls. So that is a pretty decent bump for Ashby. But I'll be trying to spend up into that range as much as I can, and avoiding some of the guys lower down. But yeah, so Giolito at the top, like Wheeler as a pivot, Snell, and I think Ashby is now entering the conversation as kind of my next guy on the list.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. The only thing that would potentially worry me about Snell and San Fran is just when he gets wild, he walks a lot of guys, but this San Fran lineup really doesn't have a lot of players back-to-back who will put up walks. Like, they start with Slater and Flores, who are both over 10%. But other than Darren Ruff and David VR, who's had 5 plate appearances, so you can't count, all of their guys are sub 5% walk rates. So Blake Snell, I think it makes a lot of sense to go there. I'm a bit more scared of the fade than I was earlier. But I mean, hey, large field tournaments, I don't even think it's super crazy to throw in a couple San Fran stacks in there as well, just in case. Kirk Dees, quick summary of your pitchers and who are your top stacks today?
Yeah, I'm talking DK here, so I'm on board with Giolito and Snell. I get it, they're chalky. I get it, they're risky with command, but I can't overlook the matchup and the upside against the Tigers. So Giolito is a lock for me. Snell, I like. The other guy that I'm going down to, you don't have to come along for this ride, is Tyler Wells against the Angels. I get it. I also like Bassett, Gallen, Ashby, Urquidy, and I'm lower on Wheeler and Morton, even though I get it for, like, if we have volatile, chalkier guys, those are the closest thing to aces. They are aces. So that's a pitcher for me. And then for stacks, Atlanta, I love. Milwaukee, I love. I like the price on some of the Arizona on the spot guys, but I get it. They'll be chalky. I like Baltimore a lot, and I like the White Sox a lot.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. On DraftKings, my top pitcher on the board is Chris Bassett. On FanDuel, I'm feeling like I'm leaning to getting to Ashby on my one lineup today. My thought process is I'm going to get underweight / fade Blake Snell and Lucas Giolito, not because I don't think they're good. I think they're projected as the best plays today for a reason. However, They're not projected as the best by all that much, and they are getting a lot of ownership. So I think one of these other guys like Gallen, Ashby, Wheeler, Morton, those are the guys that I wrote up in my Agents of Fantasy article today, and those I think are going to be my top guys that I'm looking to. And for stacks, the Yankees and the Braves are my top two. Dodgers come in third, but for tournaments, I think the top one that I'm going to be looking at is going to be the White Sox as well. So we should have the crunch time guys coming in soon here. Hit the like button while we're waiting. Roth's going to give us a weather report. Let's see who we got in coming on after us. I don't even remember here, but I know we got Cheese coming in today. We got Roth. Who else do we got coming?
I think it was Andre.
Andre. Yeah. Roth, Andre, and Cheese. So definitely hit the like button because we got multiple millionaire winners in our crunch time crew. So that's some free content that is definitely worth hitting the like button for. And we do have another question in our Discord. And I want to get this from both of you. Kirk Dees, I'll hit you first. Wheeler and Wainwright just had a matchup against each other on Sunday nights. Does that change how you view either pitcher? And would you look like the offenses more because of that?
No, I don't. I put no weight into that personally.
Nor do I. Keith, what about you?
I'm in the same boat, and it's something I've actually looked into a little. Like there have been some studies done on like pitchers facing the same offense, like within the same time frame, and it really doesn't affect anything on either side. So I'm in the same boat. Like it makes sense to me that it should matter, but just the data that has been kind of looked at historically, it really doesn't play out like that. So I don't pay any attention to it.
And it would maybe matter to me if a pitcher got like his first MLB start and then played the same team half a week later, then maybe that would make a bit more difference to me because there isn't film that exists in major leagues for this guy. They look back, see what they did wrong. But with guys like Wainwright and guys like Wheeler, like these are veterans in the league, good pitchers. It's not going to make a difference. So that's not something I'm going to look at. We had an important question in chat. QQ, TJ, would you get mad if I went in your office and started playing with your action figures? It would really depend on which ones. Some of them are fair game for playing. Some of them I'd smack your hand with Stormbreaker back here. And yeah. Other than that, we don't got any more questions in YouTube. No more questions in the Discord. These guys are late. They're supposed to be here 3 minutes ago. Come on, guys. What's going on? So we don't get in trouble. Cut it so we don't get in trouble. Hit the like button. And if you did like hearing my voice today, you can always check out the Agents of Fandom podcast. Agentsoffandom.com is the website that I run. And Keith, Kirk, I know I've been plugging the Agents of Fantasy article I put out today, the Betcha video, Fanduel Friday video. Do either of you have any content out today you'd like the people to check out?
I did write an article for Scores and Odds. You can check that out over in the news section at scoresandodds.com. I can drop a link in the chat as well for the people.
Perfect.
So pitcher strikeout props if you guys are into that type of thing.
And Josh has a question on.
Perfect. Yeah, you hit it.
No, Josh has a question on Rev Schneider's pinch hit percentage. The bat has him at 2%, which seems wild to me, but so it doesn't look very risky.
There it is. Not risky. Before we get out of here, I want to say a great compliment. Best GrindersLive host without a mustache. That means a lot. We got the crunch time guys in here finally. We got Roth, we got Cheese, we got Andre. Roth, how's it going, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing well. We got through first time hosting GrindersLive. We had some fun.
How many times did you beg for likes on the YouTube channel?
706. It was nauseatingly annoying.
How many likes did we get?
We're at 134 so far, which we got 330 people watching, so that's pretty good. I was hoping we could get to 150, but yeah, I'm not Dean. It's so underrated how good Dean is at going on tangents and filling time. And whenever I didn't have one of those, I just went to reasons to hit the like button. So it was probably a little much.
Well, if we get 200 likes, I will give my certified weather bomb of the night.
Nailed it yesterday, Roth.
Did I not?
Sure did. Absolutely.
My
It doesn't matter what team the
Eugenio's
guy's on. You say his name, he homers. He doesn't care where it is.
Took me a while to realize what his name was and what team he played for, but I knew Eugenio Suarez was going yak. All right. Anything else you guys want to Grinders Live crew? You want to throw in here? You want to peace out?
TJ, I'm
that's
going
it
to
for
see
me.
Thor tomorrow. Let you know what I think.
Good. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I went last night. It was a pretty fun time. It was a pretty fun time. It's fast paced. It's quick. It's a good time.
That's all I have to say about that.
That'll do it. Okay.
We'll have some popcorn tomorrow if you guys want to talk about that.
Okay.
Go play us something on the piano while we get out of here.
No. I've been taking lessons, Dave. I'd like to do a duet or I don't know. Come up with a song we could do together.
Yeah, I would love
at the end of the season. At the end of the season, I'll tickle the ivories for you.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
Okay, that sounds like a win. All right, guys, we appreciate it as always. So for the Grinders Live crew, thanks for hanging out. TJ, excellent job posting your first time. Good job getting us all those likes. And now the party really gets going because this is the moment you've been waiting for. It is indeed crunch time, sponsored by the one and only FanDuel. Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. New users get a no-sweat bet. Cheese loves that. The no-sweat bet. Up to 1K. FanDuel Sportsbook users take advantage of that. You get your bonus after your first time bet. So we got good stuff going on there. And we got the best stuff happening right here in this very show because we're joined by two of the sharpest in the biz. One, Mr. Dave Potts, a.k.a. Cheeseisgood.
Had some mellow mushroom today for lunch.
Oh, it's
so good. So I'm obviously feeling pretty good.
It's so good. I imagine you just got pizza. You didn't get crazy.
Yeah, just had the pizza.
Whatever.
A friend of mine came into town, and we're not like the original, but we're one of the more original mellow mushrooms. Been around a long time, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, whatever they do to the crust to get it all like garlicky and flavorful, like their crust is the best part of their pizza, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
It's so good. I see a mosquito on the wall. I'm going to try to kill it. We also have Dre hanging out with us. We need to get some lighting on this man as you're fading into your background.
He's in and out. There he is. Nope, there he's not.
Yeah.
There he is.
First yet. What's up, Dre? How you feeling, man?
I'm doing it right, hanging in there, just putting some last minute picks out there for the people to hopefully take advantage of and win some money.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I do have some weather updates to get through here. And Cheese, if you wouldn't mind, if you could stop me for a game where we want pitchers.
Okay.
There's a chance of a delay in Baltimore, but I think you're absolutely fine with bats. There's
That's
a chance
90% bats. Yeah.
Okay. There's a chance of a delay in New York, but the more I look at it, the more I think the heavier rain is probably already cleared out, and I think you're good there.
Okay. There is a pitcher there.
Oh, there is a pitcher there. Okay, that's good to know. And then in Atlanta, really, I think Atlanta might be your best chance for either a delay or a late start. Is there a pitcher there?
Yes, Charlie Morton is there.
Okay, and then also St. Louis.
Like both pitchers are good, and unfortunately, one of them is also one of my favorites. Like you nailed basically my two favorite pitchers there. One's in St. Louis, one's in Atlanta.
Okay, you want me to make you feel better about it? I don't think I would fade any of them. Like there is a legitimate chance for a delay in all of those games, with New York being lesser so than the rest. But I don't think that likelihood is high enough that you should fade pitchers for it. And like maybe it'll bite you on the ass, and I'll look like an idiot for saying that, but I wouldn't do it.
Okay. And if I'm just looking for good news, and I am, those three pitchers, Bassett, Morton, Wheeler, are all the type of veteran guys that would not necessarily be pulled from the game for a delay.
If there's a brief delay. Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, that's good to know. And bats are fine everywhere. So it's just those chances. All of those games have a chance for a delay. If you want no risk, then avoid those games. It's that simple. But I think you just shoulder that risk and go forward with it. Cheese, you want to give us an overview of the slate? And while you do, I'm going to kill this mosquito, and I will report back if I am successful or if
Okay.
he eats me through the remainder
Grab
of
the
the show.
chopsticks. Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, so the overview here is there are a ton of very good but not outstanding pitchers. And well done. You were amazing.
Got him. Just got him. Oh, that felt good.
Which leads to like this huge mess of offense like that. Nothing is fantastic, but almost everything is decent. And so it's like one where sure I have a couple favorites, but I won't yell at you for any team you're looking to play on this slate.
Okay. Well, do you want to kind of dive into pitchers and talk about, you kind of already went through a little bit there.
So really, this is a funny one because the two guys who are going to project the best that I think are going to be extremely chalky in like smaller field, higher entry stuff is Lucas Giolito and Blake Snell. Giolito against the Tigers. I feel like I'm supposed to tell you that you should just play Giolito.
Mm-hmm.
He projects the best on our stuff, on Cardi stuff. I assume on anyone else's stuff who's ever made a projection, he's going to pop. It's Lucas Giolito against the Tigers. I'm way under the field on him. I don't dislike him. I just think this is like the definition of bad chalk, and yet still it's such a wide open pitching field that he's not going to be massive chalk. This is not like a 60% owned pitcher. But even forgetting about ownership, he's just not consistent enough to be my favorite guy. And I'll say the same about Blake Snell. Like, I don't feel like I need to chase a risky, maybe I get 30 points when I've got a safe 25 points. Like, give me the guy who's going to give me 25 points, not the guy who might give me 30 and might give me 0. That's
who is the safe 25?
So that's Zach Wheeler, Chris Bassett, Charlie Morton. The three safe guys in the potential rain games.
The irony.
You're basically paying up for a lower points per inning ceiling. And for me, given the fact that I expect, like, I think the ownership on Giolito's can be way higher than we have, especially on DK. I don't trust it. I get it. And I feel like my job is to tell you that Giolito is the best play. So there, I told you. I have about 15% of him. And I feel like that's too much.
Okay. All right. You want to talk about some other guys you're playing?
Yeah. Okay. So I like spending up for Wheeler and Morton, and I also like Bassett a very good bit. On FanDuel, Aaron Ashby is super cheap, but I think he's cheaper than you need for a guy that's probably only got 75, 80 pitches. I like Urquidy better than Giolito and Snell on both sites as the mid-range guy. I also like John Gray better. Although I am not really actually playing much Gray. That just goes back to I don't really trust Snell and Giolito. So the vast majority of my lineups are Wheeler, Morton, Bassett, Urquidy.
Okay. All right, Dre, I want to hear your pitcher takes here kind of at the top. And I saw you nodding along with Urquidy, so I assume you're a little overweight on him.
Yeah, that's one of the pitchers I like getting to a lot today, especially mainly that I play on FanDuel. The price that the price of 8,100 is just, to me, is appealing, along with Ashby being cheaper than that. And I'm fine with leaving salary on the table on a big slate like today, and getting a little bit different. So, like Oakland has I know the strikeout percentage is only 21 and a half on the year, but Urquidy's been pitching pretty well lately, so he's someone that I don't mind taking. Snell concerns me a little bit. Like, we just don't know what we're going to get. He's a little bit of a volatile pitcher, but just what you want in tournaments. I understand that, but his strikeout upside is really high. So I would probably be at the field, not a little bit underweight on him. Giolito, it's tough. Like, I understand he looked good against San Francisco. I'm trying to gauge it, how I want to play, where I want to be at as far as with the field a little bit under, but I'm leaning more towards going under, even though it's against Detroit. But Detroit's been playing at least pretty decent baseball lately. So I like that. I like just getting maybe a little bit, like I said, I have to feel a little bit under. Another guy that I do like a lot that Cheese did mention was Zach Wheeler. This guy at 10-2 is just, I don't think he's getting enough ownership and credit for what how he's been pitching. Pitching this season. So I think he's probably like one of my top 3 choices. And then like we mentioned before, Ashby at 6,800. That's the guy I don't mind playing against Pittsburgh. I know it's a cheap price, but like I said, I don't mind leaving Sally on the table today.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about some of the stacks. Is there
let me real quick jump in. We didn't talk any cheap pitchers, and I do see a question. I have a Tyler Wells and even a Ross Stripling lineup on DK only for those cheap punts if you need it. And I do think Wells is a viable cheap SP2.
Okay. Dre, you got any cheapies going as well, or are you just paying up more?
Well, I'm just going to be paying up more. Like I said, the cheapest I have, because I'm playing mainly on FanDuel, would be a guy like Aaron Ashby.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Let's talk about what we're doing stack-wise. And Dre, what is the chalk stack, or is there a chalk stack?
Sorry about that.
You're good, man.
Was getting over having a cold, so
he ate the chalk. That's what you get.
Yes, yeah.
But teams that I do like getting to a lot today obviously the Yankees are one of my top teams I would look at. Getting to. I like Houston a lot today. Atlanta, I know it's going to be a fairly popular team. I don't mind being a little bit away on them, but the Dodgers also is another team that I like to get to. A team that I hate playing in tournaments because lately every time whether I play them in tournaments or bet them, they don't come through for me. It's Chicago White Sox, and I really love them a lot today. I just hope that they don't let me down, honestly.
Okay. All right. Cheese, you want to talk about some of your stacks?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty spread out. If there's chalk, it's Atlanta, and then on DK, it's probably Arizona as well. I think those are your like pricing wise. Arizona is just really easy to fit, and then, but we say chalk. It's not really chalk. It's just kind of a little more owned than the other teams. I like the Dodgers and the Yankees. A lot of things are sneaky because it's such a big slate. I've ended up with a good bit of the Royals as I start playing around with things. Baltimore is up there on my list, and Milwaukee.
Okay. Well, with that, let's see. We got plenty of time here. You want to start going position by position for us, Cheese?
You know that I do. Catcher is not as exciting today. Like Will Smith is fine, but this is not a priority spend up position for me. And on FanDuel, it's definitely a kind of just something in your stack. Other than like Dalton Varsho is a catcher, but also an outfielder. I'd probably use him in the outfield. DK wise, mid tierish is I think as good as the upper tier. I like William Contreras the best for the money at 38. Melendez is okay. Jorge Alfaro is okay. Those guys are all in sort of that mid 3K range. And then I haven't seen a San Francisco lineup, although I heard them talking before about this San Francisco lineup. If Mercedes is in there, I like him at 2,800 on DK.
Can we revisit the Varsho? You'd rather play him in the outfield?
Because
it's better than outfield?
This is on FanDuel. So first base is better than outfield.
Okay. That makes more sense. All right. Dre, what do you like a catcher? Catcher first.
Pretty much it's going to be guys that are going to be part of my stack. So Varsho, Will Smith, JT, Real Muto, MJ Melendez. I forgot to mention Casey. I do like them a good amount today going against Savali. Just those main guys would be a part. Everyone in this position would be used in a stack pretty much, or William Contreras. I'll be pretty much concentrated on like the top guys there that I like, and going from there. I'm just going to roster them from there, and keep moving.
All right, easy enough. First base. What do you like, Dre?
First base. My top overall play that one of my top overall plays that I do like kind of getting to that's going to be a little bit low on is Jose Abreu. I think he's in a good position against Schoolball today. I think if we would look at if I'm correct on the bat, it talked about I guess the spin change and what's his name's ball being a little bit down. So I kind of like taking advantage of that and getting Jose Abreu either as a one off or even in like a Chicago stack. I also do like getting to a guy like Matt Olson today, Freddie Freeman, Mountcastle, DJ LeMayu, especially in Yankee stacks is fine for me. Baltimore is tricky because you got Mancini and Mountcastle here. I mentioned both of them. Those are both to me great options today. I would probably more be in favor of going more towards the expensive one. I think Mountcastle, just because I think he would be a little bit lesser owned because he's going to cost a little bit more. And Mancini, you can save a little bit of money on him. And I think, like I said, I think they're both in great position today. And as normal, even though it's against Wheeler, I don't mind taking a shot on a guy like Paul Goldschmidt today as well.
Okay. Did just get this alert in that Naylor has been scratched, which I feel like is deja vu because I'm pretty sure that happened yesterday.
It's happened several times. I don't know why they keep putting him in the lineup and just taking him out minutes later. That's like every day now.
Huh. Okay. I thought that seemed familiar. Okay, Dre, what do you like at second base? Unless it's Cheese's turn to talk first. Yeah. Cheese, what do you like at first base?
That's a great question as well. He mentioned most of my favorites. I think on FanDuel, that $3,400 to $3,700 range has probably my four favorite bats, period. Abreu, Olson, Walker, and Rowdy Tellez. So I kind of want to live in that price range. I do like, Vlad and Freeman, but it's not a priority spend up position. DK Olson is kind of the standout value at 43, and Walker at 37. I've got a few punts with Derek Hall and Vinny Pasquantino just for salary, where I'm going up at pitcher. But yeah, the top first basemen are really good today.
Okay,
I've got one more guy.
Please.
I love this guy's a one-off today, Rhys Hoskins.
Always.
Just a great option today for a one-off.
Okay, I like it. Cheese second base.
Yep, every day. This is just now the dead position. It's not quite as dead today, but it's still, for a big slate, is pretty bad. As always on FanDuel, Muncie's just cheap, and you should play him. And if you just don't like him, well, Gleyber Torres is cheap, and you can just play him. I am playing bats against Giolito, and I'm playing Javi Baez. He probably strikes out 3 times and hits a homer, and I'm thrilled with that. Colton Wong is okay, but kind of more of an in the stack guy. The hopefully off the board one-off that I'll play is Trevor Story. I think that's really it.
Okay, Dre, you want to hit me with some of your favorite second basemen?
Pretty much almost the same guys. Not high on Story today or Boston against Cortez, but I don't mind Baez as a one-off. Whit Merrifield is another guy I do like a lot. Jose Altuve, we're going against Blackburn today. I do like getting to him. I'll get him out and well over the field. And yeah, Muncy and Torres as well.
Okay, take us to third.
Sorry. Guy like sorry. I don't mind getting to a guy like Austin Riley today. Obviously, going against Fetty today. Going to be probably one of the top on third baseman guys today. So him, Bobby Witt, I love him today as well. Along with Josh Donaldson, who's been hitting the ball pretty well lately. I'm surprised, especially, but it's good to see him break his funk a little bit. So Josh is another top player that I do like into. And I know I forgot to mention Matt Carpenter. I know it's gonna be a little bit popular, but this guy either at first or third base. I saw Cheese's life over there. But first or third base, I like him today. Probably more so at first base though. And some of these Dodgers that are coming low owned, so like Justin Turner, I don't mind taking a shot on Bregman as well, coming in at like a % owned as well. Okay,
great. Cheese, your favorite third?
So FanDuel, along with the Max Muncy thing, their salary on Donaldson is pretty silly. So that's a great value. And you can do, like you mentioned, you can do Carpet first and Donaldson a third if you want to stack the Yankees. The spend ups I love, Ramirez and Riley. There's a lot of ways you can end up with extra salary, especially on FanDuel. So I do like the 4K third baseman. But basically, Muncy and Donaldson are so cheap that in most optimal builds, you just kind of land there and like, well, I may as well play them. And I also like Machado as kind of a spend up to be different.
Okay, then take us to shortstop. Cheese.
So here's another spot where we just kind of see the same thing every day. It's like there's this really good group of shortstops, and they're all clumped around like 3,500 on FanDuel, which means you can really play one of them, and you should. You should not punt shortstop outside of a full stack. Whereas on DK, they're all like over 5K. For me, I think my favorite one-off would be Bobby Witt on both sites. And then everyone else, like I love them in their stack. Like I love Swanson with any other Braves. I love Tim Anderson with any other White Sox. I love Adames with any other Brewers. I love Bichette with any other Blue Jays, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like I'm prioritizing spending up, but not even necessarily for this one guy. It's just whoever correlates.
Okay. Dre, you want to take me through some of your favorite shortstops?
I definitely kind of agree with that for sure. Swanson's probably probably more top overall shortstop that I like today to get to a lot of. Then followed by Tim Anderson and then Bobby Witt, either position he could play. But I love those two guys for sure. Then I like into the more expensive guy like Trey Turner here in this matchup against Thompson today. So I'll be probably using those to take more advantage of it too. Bogarts, if you're going to go against Nestor today, I don't mind doing that. Or if you want to do like a a 3-man Boston stack, I don't mind it. But and him being a part of it. But that's really it. This position, like Cheese said, it's mainly going to be used just for like stacking purposes. You can take some shots at some other guys here, but most of the guys I think we talked about are the way to go, in my opinion.
Okay. Take us to the outfield. I'm intrigued. There's a name I'm waiting for.
A name you're waiting for in the outfield?
Yeah, I want to hear if you drop the name that I want. My home run call.
Okay, I probably won't maybe, but my favorite play in the outfield today is by far Yordan Alvarez. I'm going to have as much of this guy as I possibly can today. Then I don't mind getting to a guy like obviously Aaron Judge, Luis Robert, that's a one-off. Mookie Betts today. Christian Yelich, I don't mind going against Brubaker today as well. Yeah, I'll leave it to Cheese to say, but there's a good amount of honestly guys I like here today. Marcell Ozuna, who's hardly getting also any ownership as well.
Okay, Cheese.
Yeah, it's wildly loaded up top, and they're expensive on DK, but on FanDuel they're really not. I mean, like Judge and Acuna, Alvarez are expensive-ish, but you can still fit one. I would say on FanDuel, Trout is my favorite. They're all just great. Julio Rodriguez I would throw in there as well. But realistically, you can't spend up on outfielders. Where we're going to start running the chalk is mostly on DK with Arizona. This is where we're going to see a bunch of Alec Thomas, Peralta, Varsho. I think AJ Pollock probably goes a little overlooked in that same price range, and I like him. I also like the right around the 3K range on FanDuel and the 4K on DraftKings. You got the guys like Ozuna and Eloy Jimenez. There's plenty to like in there too. And then punting wise, if you're looking like this is really just a DraftKings thing because FanDuel, you're getting superstars at 3K. So just do that. Yeah, I think you go down to like Aaron Hicks. Cooper Hummel is in the lineup, which I didn't expect. He's fine. You're allowed to play Joey Gallo. You shouldn't be excited about it, but you're allowed to. Riley Green. I'll stop there, but there's a lot of good names.
Okay. Well, the name that I was waiting for was not mentioned. It was Mr. Shohei Ohtani. No interest.
Oh, always interest. Yeah, it's funny like that. The high end outfielders, it's so loaded that Ohtani can go overlooked. Like we didn't mention Mookie Betts, Kyle Schwarber, Ohtani because there's so many just superstar expensive outfielders.
Okay. 3 home runs between him and Trout tonight, and I think he gets 2 of them.
I'd buy that on either side. Yeah,
that's my call. Okay. Anything else, Cheese? Oh, let's say you're paying 1 stack to win it all.
Like, I always know that question's coming, and I don't have a clue in the world. The first one I built was at Chalky Atlanta. I would say it wouldn't be Atlanta just because that's the one thing there is chalk. I'm looking at my list and seeing, I don't even think I'm overweight on anything. You know what? If I had one lineup, it would be, honestly, I'm not even kidding, it would be the Detroit Tigers.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Dre, if you have one lineup to win it all, let's say it's single entry, you got $20 in there and it's your last $20, you're trying to take it down.
Gosh, I'm gonna say I'm gonna hate myself for this because I already know it wouldn't work, but a Houston Chicago White Sox mini stack.
Okay. You're still probably not feeling good about Chicago, even though you're
I mean, I love them. I'll probably make Chicago maybe my primary, make Houston my secondary. I'm gonna probably have like a one-off, like a 4-3. It's just I just like going against school balls. Just Chicago just always lets me down, and especially in a spot where I know that they really aren't going to be like, especially where I think it's school ball. We're seeing a little bit of regression, but not a lot.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to add? If not, we've got 12 minutes for QQs. Yeah, no, all right.
I've said all I need to say.
Okay. I'm going to take a few of these, and then while I do it, I'm going to be looking at radar and seeing if there's any spots where I think you should fade pitchers. Like Atlanta's not safe, but I don't think I'd fade it. Baltimore is kind of a similar story. I think Atlanta is probably the highest risk, but I don't think I'd fade it either. I know I wouldn't fade it in GPPs. Okay, let's get some QQs going here. Cheese, can we play Wells on DK as your SP2?
Yes, like you shouldn't try to, but if you need to go below 6,500, he is who I'd play.
Okay. Dre, this one's for you. DK single entry. Is stacking the 1 through 5 Brave hitters viable, or do we think that they're too chalky and I should mix it up and maybe go with like bottom of the order guys?
It's too big. I mean, they'll be probably the most popular team, but I still think you're fine as long as your secondary stack is fine.
Okay.
And plus, it's like what, a 14 game slate.
Yeah. Okay. NBA DFS says Cheese, Fanduel Cash, T. Anderson and Witt, or Trey Turner and Kepler?
Anderson Witt.
Uh,
All right. Amateur Hour says Dre, I'm stacking Yanks. Who's the last man in? Is it Gallo or Hicks?
I like both of them. That's a tough one. I'm probably going to say Gallo.
Okay. All right. And Dre, I'm going to come right back to you for this one because it's the same question. Favorite outfielder, 4,100 or less, DKGPP?
Give me a minute. Let me pull up DraftKings real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
4,100 or less?
Mm-hmm.
Goodness gracious. I wish I knew this on top of my head. Outfield. Give me. I want to ask what kind of stack he has, but I would say, depending on really what kind of stack you have, they can go a number of different ways. But as a one-off, I'm going to say I'm going to keep picking on Screwball today and go with a guy like Eloy Jimenez.
Okay, great. Cheese, Fanduel Cash, you want Rojas or Donaldson at third?
Donaldson.
Dre, Rojas and Judge. This is DK single entry GPP. Rojas and Judge or Ramirez and Betts?
Rojas and Judge.
Okay, great. Cheese, Luke Cage says, I'm late. I apologize. Could you give me a quick rundown of your favorite DKGPP pitchers?
Yeah, we started 5 minutes ago, Luke. This is unacceptable. But since you apologized,
That's how I feel. Because he apologized, we allow it.
Yes. So like we discussed, the chalk is Giolito and Snell, and like theoretically, Giolito's the play, but he is not my favorites. My favorites is Wheeler and Morton, and then Urquidy and Bassett.
Okay. Aside, Dre, I'm coming to you here. FanDuel Cash, if you can only have 2 of these 3 gentlemen, who is the odd man out? Who's not making the cut between Trout, Judge, and Acuna?
Trout.
Beast Mode says, Cheese, who is your favorite FanDuel GPP pitcher?
If you have money, it's Wheeler. And if you don't, it's Urquidy.
Okay, great. Dre, DK Cash question here. Kim or Moore?
DK Cash?
Yep, Kim or Moore.
I'm going to say Kim.
Okay. Dan Jan, would you play the Tigers Cheese 1 through 5 in DK single entry with Wheeler and Bassett?
Yeah, I really would.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I would love it.
Yeah, excellent. Let's see. Just Moore says, I just logged on and I apologize, but did Roth take a victory lap for his Suarez home run yet? Yes, and I will continue taking them. So please continue complimenting me so I can bring it up like every 5 or 10 minutes. Let's see. In FanDuel GPPs, Dre, who do you think is going to be higher owned, Acuna or Judge? Projected ownership has them the same. So just like gut call, who do you think will come in higher owned, Acuna or Judge?
I mean, if you're going by what you're saying with the weather, I think it's probably going to be Judge, especially him playing in Boston where that's better to righties as far as hitting wise.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody's – I think it's Judge just because everybody likes playing Judge because all Judge does is hit home runs. Is that a reasonable –
That is a very reasonable assessment.
It seems. Let's see. Beaner says – did I miss a question? I may have here. DK Cash. Sorry, Cheese, I'm looping back here. DK Cash. William Contreras and Kim or Jose Herrera and Witt?
What was the first pairing again?
It was William Contreras and Kim.
Yeah, I would go that. I would go that way. I would rather not play Herrera.
Okay, great. FanDuel GPP. Let's see. We've got last piece, Carpenter, Peralta, or Jay Turner. Or it says, or Suarez. What's your favorite last piece there, Dre?
Carpenter.
Okay, good stuff. FanDuel Cash.
Dre knows the answer.
Yeah.
Listen to him go.
Yeah. FanDuel Cash 2v2. Torres Hicks Cheese or Muncie Thomas?
That would be Muncie Thomas for me.
Chinatown says, my victory lap doesn't count. I meant Aquino. I didn't. I meant Suarez. I just didn't know what team he was on. I meant Suarez. Dan Jen, Cheese, last piece in the outfield. I got 55 hundo on DK. Who am I playing?
Yeah, 55 is a weird price because like all the guys you really want are like 58 and up. If it's a shoot for the stars tournament, I do like Schwarber. I think I would say him. Otherwise, I would go Lewis Robert. Okay.
Hammer says, Cheese, do you like cheese? And believe it or not, I can answer for him. He does not.
Correct. Pretty much only on pizzas the only time I eat cheese.
Yeah. Not even on a, you don't even do a cheeseburger? You would just have a plain burger?
Like hamburger is the food of choice.
That's just amazing. It's amazing to me.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. Timmy Tebow says, Dre, DK Cash, you want Alvarez, who I think you said was maybe your favorite hitter in the world.
Or you don't even have to say nothing else.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Your dong is the answer. And you told me a while ago he was maybe the best hitter in the world.
Yeah. Like you like to say Judge homers every day. He doesn't. Alvarez actually does.
He really does. Yeah.
It's really true. Like Aaron Judge wishes he could grow up to be Alvarez and he can't because Alvarez is better. It's like, guys, incredible.
It's pretty awesome. Like living in Houston, I'm inundated by the Your Dong hype, and I'm here for it because you told me a long time ago that he was that dude, and he is.
And he's still getting better. Like we don't know how good this guy can end up being. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's pretty fun. Okay, Detox says, "Hey, Cheese, 4 Royals, 4 Blue Jays." Ooh, okay, this is DKGPP. It's an involved question.
Okay,
4 Royals, 4 Blue Jays with Gio and Snell, or 5-man Stros, 2 Royals with Urquidy, Gio. This is literally wants the whole thing.
4 Royals and Blue Jays with chalk pitchers. That is one side, and the other side was what?
It was 4 Astros, 2 Royals with Urquidy, Gio.
I would go with that Astros side.
Okay, very nice. Well handled there. Let's see. Dre, do you trust T. Anderson in a FanDuel GPP?
Yes, I do.
Okay, who's T. Anderson? Help me out. Teoscar, no?
Dodgers. Tyler Anderson, probably.
Tyler.
Oh, is it? Hold on. Oh, I thought it was Tim Anderson.
Oh, see?
Yeah, there's actually 3 T. Well, 2 T. Andersons. Tim, the shortstop, and Tyler, the pitcher. I was thinking he means Tyler, the pitcher.
Oh, he means Tyler, the pitcher. Then no.
Okay, we're gonna need more than just T. Anderson Beaner, apparently. Aaron Rasmus says, "I want the boom rate upside, Trout or Soto on DK." I like the way he worded that. Boom rate upside.
I like that term a lot too. Yeah, I would Trout on that one.
Okay. Let's see. Last piece in DK, Dre, you want Schwartz or Yelich? I'm looking at the matchup versus Wainwright and not loving KS.
That's a tough one. I kind of really want to fade Kyle Schwarber today, but I think that's the right answer to go with.
Okay. All right. Casey says, "Hey, Cheese, looking at only a 3-man stack of Milwaukee with no other stacks, is that just flat out dumb in a DK GPP?"
No, that's not the way I'm going tonight because I don't feel enough love for the one-offs to pick out a bunch. But in general, I mean, no, I think you're okay.
Cheese, is there any? All right, we got a minute to lock. Then I'll ask you. Dre, who is your overachieving stack today on FanDuel? He then says for cash. I would add, there's no need to stack in cash, right?
Yeah, there's no need to stack in cash.
Yeah, but who is your overachieving stack on FanDuel today?
Well, Houston's coming at lower ownership, so I'll say Houston. But my gut really wants to say the White Sox.
Okay, great. Cheese, would you fade the Dodgers or Yankees if you had to fade one?
I think you got to play the Yankees first.
Okay. All right. DK Cash, Dre, Merrifield or Torres?
Which site?
DK Cash, Merrifield or Torres?
I'm gonna say Torres, but I do like with Merrifield and Benintendi. I forgot to mention Benintendi too earlier. I like both of them a lot today in tournaments.
Okay. Strauss says, "Have we ever seen so many 6K hitters in DK?" Jeez, is it loaded up there?
You know what's weird? Like, I'm not sure that we have. It's a lot, but it's like as they've done this, raising the price a little bit on hitters, they just lower the price on the pitchers, and it's like the same lineup build. Like now they never price a pitcher at 11K anymore. It's like 10K is kind of like the ceiling, and then they've got guys like Giolito and Snell under 8, and so it almost doesn't matter that you have $6,500 outfielders. They're just sort of spreading around where you have to spend your money.
Intriguing. I like these little updates. I don't play enough to notice these things, so always good to learn that. This question comes from 5% Tent, so you can't see up in my window, which is a wonderful name and is from he's probably from H-Town with that name. It's a little rap nod. Anyways, it is mind-boggling, Cheese. Nobody's mentioned San Diego.
Yeah, although it's interesting, so I mentioned Machado and got several Kim questions. I have a couple San Diego stacks. I do think they're interesting. They're just one of so many. There's so many teams that are way off the board on this huge slate. And like I said at the beginning, I wouldn't yell at you for anyone you're trying to stack. And certainly San Diego being one of those teams. And
Okay.
yeah, great name, whatever that is.
Yeah, so good. Okay, we get a couple questions here, and then we get my question. FanDuel Cash, Util, Dre, Rowdy Tellez. Cat, Jesus Christ. I'm just Rowdy Tellez, Kirk, and J Mart, or Will.
Oh, he worked
Or
really
Will
hard
Smith.
on that one. I just found what you're reading.
All right, Kirk, J Mart, Tellez, or Will Smith.
Okay. I'm gonna say the second one.
Okay, I think it was just pick one of those guys. Actually,
Oh, so give me Will Smith.
okay, excellent. Okay, a couple more questions. Cheese, FanDuel Cash 2v2, Quan Muncy or Torres Diaz?
Quan Muncy.
Would you play Snell against a struggling Giants offense or Giants against a wild card in Snell in a GPP? Good question, Dre. Which way are you leaning here? You said you don't trust Snell.
I like him for the strikeout upside, but I would, and they have been struggling. I might take a shot at some Giants today, so I would go that route more because I know it's going to be geared more against the field.
Okay, we've got a few more questions coming in, but Cheese, I want to get my question out because I am self-centered and I don't want to forget. Are we getting to a point in content? I'm more so thinking NFL here than baseball, but maybe it's cross-sport, where so many people are playing right with optimizers and stacking and doing the right thing that if you're trying to win, to take down something huge and be different, you just have to do something kind of stupid, especially in NFL, maybe.
Yeah, so I think that's very true. And like that works well in baseball because of variance. Like it's not stupid to do something stupid. It's
Sure.
I think it's harder to do it in NFL and much harder in NBA.
Yeah.
Where, it's not as variant, but yes. I mean, the answer to your question is yes. We are getting to a point where almost everyone is playing air quotes correct or well. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know in NFL because I'm not particularly good at NFL, but I play correct and I have good lineups, but I don't know because that's not my go-to. But I do the sports that I do know, baseball and I would say hockey in there as well. Yes, you've got to be a little weird. Which is why I'm playing the Tiger stacks and not Lucas Giolito tonight.
Right. This is literally why Blender is effective.
It's
play whoever you want.
Yeah, and it's definitely true. There's so much this is why I like baseball a lot because there's so much volatility in it. Unlike any other sport, like hockey is the same way a little bit. I don't play much hockey though. But I know when it comes to NFL, everyone's going to be on the same guy simply because the defensive matchups. You know who the quarterback is. You know who the
receiver. But you don't know you don't know which receiver is going to catch 2 touchdowns. I feel NFL
but you know the cornerback. You know the matchup. You just have to play a certain game script. So it's a little bit. It's the same thing, yes, but I think baseball has just a lot of volatility to it, and that's why I think it's my best sport because of the volatility. Basketball, forget about it. You don't play the chalk guy, you can lose. So
yes,
you're not even cashing.
Right? Yeah, basketball is not that way. You gotta play the good plays. Okay, with that, we are gonna get on out of here. Excellent work as always, Dre. Get a COVID test, get some cough drops, feel better, man. I'm worried for you, but I hope
I don't have COVID. I've checked already. So
okay, that's good to hear, man. So for Cheese and for Dre and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.